Hi everyone, I thought we would have a go at this Christmas design today. I may not colour the whole thing because there's a lot of repetition in this sort of circle design, but I thought it would be fun to have a go at. Now this is a free download. It is quite an old one from Johanna Basford's website, so I will put in the description where you can grab it so you can download it for yourself. I don't know why I'm so zoomed out. So there we go. It's a nice simple one. I seem to remember that she did a few designs for a newspaper going back a few years, and this was one of them. She gave a few of them away afterwards, and this was one of the ones she gave away. Now I've decided to keep it really simple today, and I've got my Staedtler Ergosoft pencils. If you don't have them, then you can do an equivalent sort of colours and things, and we'll just take it easy and have a bit of fun with it really. I don't know how long it's going to take and whether I might split this into more than one video. I'm just going to see how it goes really. I'm not in a rush, and if I need to go into another video I will, because I don't want to go mega fast. Right, that's as zoomed in as I can get. Right in the middle here we have this lovely gift, and we're going to start by colouring the ribbon on the gift in a gold colour. We are going to use a mixture of browns and things to create our gold, and I'm going to start with number 76. Okay, and I will just pop a little bit here at the bottom and then gently reduce it like that. Do the same from the top downwards. On the side one, slightly different, we'll go from the centre here and the edge here. It's good to try and just reduce your colour a little bit, and it makes it easier to blend into the next colour like that. Now the ribbon is a little bit different, so let's have a look. I think I will make it darker here in the bottom of each of these little pieces, but then on this outside bit we'll do it slightly differently. We'll put a darker bit in these bits like that. There we go. I've actually been Christmas shopping today, just a little bit. I'm just checking my colours before I dive in. Yeah, I think I'm going to grab this one. It's a while since I've used my Ergos. 49, I tend to use my, gosh, the sun is so bright coming in here. Yeah, I tend to use my Staedtler Design Journey a little bit more on my Ergosoft, but I just didn't want such a large amount of colours to choose from today. So I'm just basically extending all of those areas that I've done already with this colour. I go over the top and extend it a bit. Yeah, it was quite warm today, which was yesterday one of my sons was complaining so much about how cold it was. He made me turn up the heating by 2 degrees. It was on 18, and he made me turn it up to 20. He said, oh, it should be on 21. I thought that was a little bit warm. But anyway, we compromised 16 down to 20. And woke up this morning, it was absolutely boiling. See, I haven't done a very good job here. I don't know how well you can see of reducing that colour. So we've got quite a hard line between our darkest brown and the next brown. I can fiddle with that in a bit to make it look a bit better. I don't know why I'm going in this order because I haven't done this bit. There's a train going by. My neighbour's dog always barks when the train sound their horn. I'm sure he didn't used to. So I don't know whether something's happened that sounds like it that's bothered him. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, it's okay. Luckily, the trains don't sound their horns after midnight. I'm just trying to decide which yellow to go with. I think I'll go with the 11. I think this is the sand. I'm going to go over everything again like before. Now I'm not pushing mega hard because I am going to come back in and maybe do a little bit more. So I need to just make sure I don't squash down all the tooth of the paper so it goes too flat. And once you've done that, you can't add more colour. I'm trying to remember to leave a little white gap in the middle of each section. Sometimes I forget, or I do it, but it doesn't show up very well. I'm trying my best to remember. I do like a gold ribbon on a present. I don't usually, the gold I use, I've got some gold ribbon at the moment, it's more of an antique gold, you know, more brown than this. This is quite bright and brash. It looks quite dark in my camera. I don't know if it's from the sun. The sun isn't on the desk, but now I'm going to grab that dark brown and just show you how to fix this problem here. Now you might not be able to see it as clearly as I can, but what you do is where it looks like there's a line, actually it looks a bit like that on here, you just scumble a little bit extra just below it. I'm going to do that here as well. It looks a bit, I think it's because this colour is a bit too far away from the next one that I used. And then I'm going to grab that 49, which was the next colour I used, and just bring a bit more of that in as well. I'm struggling a little bit to get much down on the paper. I think I have filled the tooth up quite quickly. Never mind. Now we have got our little present label here. I think I'm going to continue with this 49 for that. And just wondering whether if I turn my light out whether it'll make a difference. I did see a difference there on the, but not a significant one. Sometimes I worry about colour, and then when I look at the video it's not too bad. There we go. Now what colour for our parcel? Well, I'm sort of thinking, do we go with our red, you know, Christmas paper, red paper, that sort of thing. It's very tempting, very tempting, I have to say. What have we got here? We've got the 29. This is a pretty nice red. It's so dark in the camera. Just move my lamp. Made no difference whatsoever. If I turn my lamp up, my camera turns down. I think that's a bit better, but I don't know. Maybe not. Now we're gonna. I think I'm gonna put a light layer all over in my red. Then think about whether I want some areas to be dark. It's quite pinky red, this, isn't it? I might put a different red on top. I find that sometimes if I haven't quite got the right colour, it can be fairly easy to blend them together, which is what I'm going to actually do right now. So I'm going to put that down, and I'm going to use number 2, which is a red. It's much more orangey red. And not only does it bring that to look more neutral red, which is what I'm looking for, it adds another layer and makes it more saturated, which is also what I was looking for. But before I add more layers of colour, I need to think about what I'm doing with regards to shadows, because I can draw those in. I just shut my blind because I think it makes it a bit easier to see, which doesn't really make any difference. But anyway, it's very odd. I'm going to grab my dark brown again. This is our 76, and I'm going to put a little bit of shadow under certain items. I'm thinking underneath our bow, it would be casting a little bit of a shadow. So just underneath the black line of the bow, I'm just putting a little bit of brown. And then also underneath the ribbon here, the ribbon would cast a shadow, and the label. Now this is a sort of fiddly little detail, You don't have to worry if you don't want to do it. I'm going to put a little bit either side of this ribbon. I think there would be more underneath that one. Okay, now I'm also thinking that the bottom of the present might be darker than the top, just because it would be sitting on a table or something. But because we're in a mandala and it's not sitting on anything, I think I'm actually going to just leave that and just go back to my number 2 red and put another layer down. I'm just trying to colour reasonably evenly over the whole section. I don't find it particularly easy to colour evenly, but I just do my best. That's all I can do. Okay, so there is our gift. I think I'm going to leave it there. Now we have our mistletoe coming around the edge. Now mistletoe is not the easiest thing to colour, in that the berries are white and yeah, it's sort of, yeah, whitish. So that's tricky. Now we have 2 ways we can approach this. We can do them in a slightly creamy colour, or we can use some grey for shadowing, or we can do a bit of both. I think I'm going to try doing a bit of both. I'm actually going to use the grey first. So this is 80. It's the lightest grey that we have. And what I'm going to do with this is, on the top one, the one that's in front, I'm going to put a little bit of grey around the edge. I'm going to try and be really gentle, like that, to hopefully give it some shape. I'm going to do the same on all of them, just a little bit, and then there'll be a bit of shadow where they're overlapping, like that. I'm just going to do the same on all of them. I'm probably not going to demonstrate everything on this, in the sense of, you know, there are 2, 4, 6, 8 candy canes on this picture. I'll probably only show you one. But with these berries, they're quite close together. I'm just going to do them quickly. As I say, as we come out and do a little more. That might not even show up particularly well. And we need a cream colour. Now we don't really have a cream. Our lightest yellow is number 10, which is called light yellow, but it's quite lemony, and it can go really fluorescent. Look. Look at that. That does not look like a cream. So we have to be careful with it. Oops, sorry. So what I'm going to do is just apply it really gently. Just a really tiny bit, and hope that it looks a little bit like a cream rather than a lemony yellow. But if I try to use my other yellows, the actual yellow, actually that's called yellow. Is that yellow? That's light yellow. There's another yellow, number 1, that's even brighter. But what I'm also going to do now is get my 56, that's very short, and just add the tiniest bit of green on it. Now if this was bigger, we could add a bit more and sort of try and make it look a little more berry-like, but they're quite small, so I'm just going to leave it there. I don't see the need to fiddle around too much. Now mistletoe, it comes in different colours. Some mistletoe is quite dark, a bit like holly. Some mistletoe is very much lighter, and I prefer the darker one, but I do see the lighter one. It actually grows in my father-in-law's garden, so when I want mistletoe, that's what I get. Not that I get it since having kids, because of the berries are poisonous. But so there are different types. So I want to do this one lighter, because on the outside we have our holly, so we will get a contrast between the colours, and I thought that might be better. So 57 I have picked, and I'm going to do my mistletoe in quite a simple way. So more layers here near the centre, and then just fade it off towards the edge, like that, and the same on all of them. I'm only going to demonstrate on one just because it's very simple. You can just pause the video now and just finish them off. You know, it's not too tricky. I'm just going to layer mine up a little bit more near the top so I get quite a nice contrast of colour from top to bottom. I think it just looks a little bit prettier like that. Okay, if you want to, you can use a darker green here, but there isn't really one in this set that I would tend to use. But if you're using a different set of pencils, you've got an olive green, an olivine, I'm thinking Chroma Flow here, or if you're in your polychromos, you might have an earth green yellowish you could use. No, this will be the earth green yellowish, olive green yellowish I think it's called, can't remember. Those sorts of something a little bit darker but with still an olivey tone to it. Anyway, there is our mistletoe. So we now need to do some of these outside items. So we have got candy cane, lollipop, ball ball and a bow, a cracker and a ball ball and a diamondy type thing. That's a good description, isn't it? Now I'm thinking carefully about my colour scheme because obviously we're going Christmas. We've got various items though, so I'm not entirely sure where we're going to go. We're going to start with the candy cane though. I'm going to bring it into the middle. I can't get in any closer than I am because it's just quite a small item. Now I never know, you can tell me, whether there is a proper way with a candy cane, whether it has a red tip or a white tip or a white tip or a red bottom or a red white bottom, or whether it's just completely random. I've got no idea, but I am going to use my 29 and just start colouring. So I want it to be really dark along the edges here and here, also around there. Okay, so I'm going to layer that up a bit and then I'm going to do a little bit less towards the middle. My aim is to leave a little light line. Can you see that? I'm going to do that all the way up every other one. We're going to do a traditional white and red colour. Now I have got quite a lot of candy cane tutorials and there are ones that are far more complicated than this, but because this is small and you know, I just want to keep it nice and simple. I was thinking about this design and how it could so easily be used as a Christmas card. Now I know that we're not allowed to colour things in of Johanna's and sell them. That's just, or any colouring book, that's just not, that's against copyright. But what you are allowed to do is do them for your own personal use. So we're going to do the same but with a grey, just to put a little bit of shadow on our white bits, but we need to be quite gentle here. We don't want it to look grey, we just want it to look shadowy. So I tend to put a lot less on, just press really lightly. So what you could potentially do is colour this in, scan it, shrink it down and use it to make some Christmas cards with. I think it's such a nice sort of simple design. I think it would work really well, and then shrink it down. Any mistakes in your colouring where you might have gone out of the line or you might not have coloured perfectly evenly, because it's shrunk, you can't see it. So you know, that's always good. Now all my candy canes will look like this. It's very straightforward, there's not going to be any difference in them. But we now have a lollipop and I'm wondering what to do with that, because I would normally do that red and white as well, but it's right next to the candy cane. So I'm thinking maybe we'll do it green and white just so it's a bit different. And I think I'm going to use number 5, which is quite a nice deep green. So here it is, 5. And we're going to do a similar-ish thing to here in that we want a shine on our lollipop. I do think it's better with the blinds shut. So on the edge here I'm just going to put a more defined line, and I need to decide where my shine is going to be, probably somewhere there, like that, and we'll just work round. Now if you want a red lolly, go for it, or any other colour. and it doesn't matter what colour you use. This technique will work, whatever colour you pick, or you may even decide you don't want that bit of shine on it. I think it just adds a little something. And again, we'll use our grey number 80 to do the white bit. Now I'm very tempted to do all my ribbons in gold, and I'm thinking about that prospect right now while I'm filling in this grey bit, which as you can see I'm doing in an identical way to the white. I'm probably pressing it a bit dark actually, but anyway, it's done now. So what should we do for this ribbon? I know I've coloured this before, but it was such a long time ago. I think we'll do gold again. Or we could do silver. No, I think I'm going to do them the same. They look almost the same. They're either side of this cracker. It sort of makes sense if there's some sort of symmetrical, because these are symmetrical, these are symmetrical. So to make these the same, I know this bit's slightly different. We make these two the same colours. I think it would all tie in. So let me show you how to do a gold ribbon. If you don't want to do it gold, if it's too complicated for you, then just pick your own colour, but I will show you what I do. So I start with the 76 like we did with our gold in the middle. We'll keep the same shade of gold. I think it will work better that way. And look where it's going to be darkest. So inside here, that's going to be our darkest bit. So we'll put a bit of dark there and slightly reduce it. Now I'm filling quite a lot of that area with this dark colour because I really think it would be quite shadowy in there. Okay, and then here I think it would be quite shadowy underneath there, but we will fade like that, and I'm going to put a little tad there. I'll do the same on this. Oh, sorry, I caught on my sleeve. I haven't actually got a cardigan on today, it's so warm. And then the bow, what I tend to do is do my darkest bit here, just sort of spread it out like that from the centre, but then also on this edge, just reduce. That's it. Now it doesn't feel too complicated when you do this one, I find, but when you realise you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more to go, then it can feel a bit daunting. What I do to make it easier is I would do this on all of them now and then swap colours. Normally when I come back and finish this, that's how I'll do it. I won't just do one and then next, it takes too long. So 49 is our next colour. So we can just go anywhere. I'm going to go on this darkest bit first, I think. So I'm trying to scumble it into this dark brown a little bit. It didn't necessarily blend in that nicely on the present in the middle. So just trying to really layer up a bit, and I think that's working. It doesn't matter if this is a stripe because it's a shadow, the same as here, but when you get to this bit you don't want there to be a stripe, you want it to sort of blend in a bit more. I hope that makes sense. I have shown you how to do gold lots of times, but I think it's always nice to have a bit of a reminder and a bit of a talk through it, because I know that some of you find it quite difficult, and it is something that I've had to practice a lot. I haven't just suddenly gone, right, gold, done, you know, I had to try it lots and lots of times. It's a favourite of mine to do, number 16, and so I do it a lot, but sometimes I feel a bit overwhelmed by it, to be honest. So that's why I'm thinking maybe you sometimes do in certain pictures. To be honest, this one is okay, I'm not overwhelmed by it, but I was doing one the other day and I said to my husband, what colour should I do this and make gold? And I was like, okay, but it worked. Thank goodness. But you know, it can be a little bit daunting, the prospect of having to do all these different layers of colour, I think is the main problem for me. Yes, this was the one. I'm just trying to remember what I used. 11. It certainly wasn't the other one. I had the light yellow, and I was like, what did I use that for? The berry. So bring it in towards that little gap and just close it almost up, but leave just that line, and hopefully it will just look like the light is catching that little bit. I'm going to go over this a bit too. I'm not leaving any white on the edge of here. You can do, but I think I want that to look much more shadowy, so without that, it doesn't shine because there's more shadow there. So there he is. There's our bow, and all the others same. Now we've got a line coming from the centre of a bow and a circle. Now I'm thinking this could be done in a silvery colour, because just to contrast with our gold, and we can keep it straight. Ooh, I just dropped my pencil sharpener, sorry about that. I just realised I haven't done my lolly stick either, but anyway, we'll get there in a minute. We'll keep it straightforward. We'll start with number 8. So this is 8 is our dark grey, so we do need to be a little bit careful, but we can make it quite dark there, but we want to fade it really quickly like that. And the same with this one, put a bit either side and a bit at the bottom here, a bit either side of there, and here just around the edge. Okay, we'll do the same on this one. I'll show you this bit. The ribbon's exactly the same. I mean, it's going to be really similar, but it's just a bit shorter, so I thought I'd just show you. So we stop really quite quickly, and a bit there, and then we go with the light grey, number 80, and just finish it off. So on this long one here, we can go over what we've done and bring it towards the middle. We want to leave some white so it looks a bit shiny, and then it will help it to look like it's silver rather than just grey. It's in a small space, it's not that easy, but there we go. If you fail to leave a gap and you think it looks too flat, you can use a little bit of white pen on it to just make it look a bit shinier, but I'm not sure, I haven't done that bit, that it's necessarily going to need it. And now we need a colour that's going, oh, lolly stick. I think we used the sort of brown for the label of the present, this colour here. I'm going to also use that for the lolly stick. It was the 49. Now it's quite an orangey brown. It isn't really a lolly colour, but I'm just going to put it on really lightly. You could leave your lolly white. I think that's fine. You could leave the stick white if you'd rather, but if you're going to, it depends if you're going to do a background here or not. If you can do a background, then a white would work, because the background, it'll stand out from the background, otherwise maybe not. You can put some shine on your stick as well by making it darker at the top or the bottom, or darker on the edges, but because it's so small, I'm just going to leave it. Now, my Christmas decorations, so I have this decoration is diamond. What we're going to do, well, gemstones I find quite easy with a green, so I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do that one first. So I've got number 5, and I am going to do a few different techniques. I'm going to start dark here, really saturated it, and then slowly reduce how much I've got till I get right down here till there's nearly none. Okay, now in this centre bit here, I feel it might be catching the light because it's facing us. So what I do here is, you notice I'm going a diagonal angle, going to leave a bit of the centre white, like that. Okay, and then on our side I'm going to do a similar thing to, I might do the same actually. So fade to the bottom. And this side we'll do the opposite, so dark at the bottom and lower up here. Same here. Now if you want a bigger contrast with your gemstone, you can use some black. We might do that in a minute, but you don't want it to look black. You see, I've done a line in the same direction as that one. That looks like that is facing us. Let me show you with the black. I need it really sharp because we've only got a small space, and we apply the black in the very darkest of areas. So it's number 9, and we can put a bit right up here by our silver clasp, or whatever it might be called, and a bit here. Just put a little bit in there and there, just a tad. And the bigger, as I say, the bigger contrast between light and dark, the more shiny it looks. So that's that. So we're going to use this green as well for this. But I think we might not just use green, because we've got our 3 sections here. Now to make, actually I am going to make it just, I'm going to ignore the lines on it. So to make it look circular, I'll show you that. Now in my Advent bundle, well, in my Advent giveaways, either if you bought the bundle or if you're waiting for the giveaway, either way, there is a step-by-step, spoiler alert here, tutorial guide on how to colour a bauble, which this is, a Christmas tree ornament. We call them baubles. I don't think you do in America. But anyway, as a step, we're going to start fading the colour now. We don't want as many layers. We want it to get less and less as we go around and towards the middle. So there is a step-by-step guide on how to colour one, which has got photographs and written instructions. Excuse me. And I've also got some videos with them in as well, with more complex ones on the video with sort of pictures on and stuff. This is simply, I'm just going to make this in the one colour, but we are going to use some black. But our black for this one goes around the edge, because that's where all of our shadow is. I'm going to do a second but lighter line around the edge, just slightly inside the other one. I think it can make quite a difference to just have a bit of black around there. With the Staedtler pencils, because they're fairly faint, trying to layer them up to make them really dark doesn't necessarily work, so using a bit of black can be quite useful. Okay, so we've got red, green, green, so we're going to do a lot of red on this one. This was always the plan anyway. I'm going to use the 29, which I did use for my candy cane. There it is. But I'm also going to add the other colour that I used on the gift, but we'll get there, I'll show you. So just a layer first. There will be more than one colour on here because we've got these little sections, but it will mainly be in this red. Now I am going to go over all of it in, in the number 2, like we did with our gift, but I'm just going to sharpen it first. Now I have been thinking a little bit about whether to do a background on this or not. I don't think I will. There is the potential on this outer ring here, you can see where all these dots and things are. It almost indicates that you want to put a background and those to be sort of gold and silver or white or something like that on top of a background, and you can absolutely do that if that's something you want to do. I think a really dark blue would look really nice behind this, but it's not very Christmassy. Oh, I've got an itch now, sorry. Now, we want to make this look a little bit more three-dimensional, and how do we do that? Well, it's rounded. It's like my pencil sharpener. It isn't flat. I mean, this is triangular, which isn't very useful, but this bit here, you can see the light catching here, this bit's dark down here. So our cracker is going to be darker here and here, and in here where it's pulled in, and down each side. So we need to find a way of doing that. Now I think the easiest way is to use a little bit of brown. Now be careful with your brown. If you're not confident, just use the red. But we need to make it look darker without making it look brown, and so we need to be quite gentle. So I'm going to use it on my edge here and just gently add a little layer. I will be adding more red on top of this anyway, so that will help it look less brown, but I'm just trying not to sort of push down hard and saturate the page. Yeah, if you don't know what a Christmas cracker is, I think most Americans do know, but I don't think there's something that you get in America. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to use the number 2 red for my next layer. And what I'm going to do is when I get to those areas that I've done brown, I'm going to try and layer it a little bit heavier on those, still keeping gentle though, not pushing so hard you're going to rip the paper or anything silly. Don't get too carried away. Just layer up until you're happy. Yes, so inside, so these, one person holds this end and one person holds this end, and you pull towards you, your end, and it snaps in half, or one of these will come off on one end, is what happens. And inside there's a bit of gunpowder which goes bang, which is quite fun. It's not too loud, it's not as loud as a balloon popping or anything like that, just a little bang. And inside, traditionally, you get a paper hat that you can wear. Mine never stays on. You get a joke or some sort of saying, or both, whatever. And now the rest of this is going to be gold, because we've got a star. So we're going to start. This is 76, by the way. Sorry, I grabbed it again. Yes, so you have a little gift of some description. In some crackers it's a chocolate. It's rare if it's a small cracker, but usually it is something plastic that is absolutely rubbish. But companies become a little bit more environmentally conscious lately, so often that you get plastic-free crackers now. This is 49, where you might get a little wooden Christmas tree decoration or a paper game. There are some fabulous ones available this year that I was tempted by, but I'm not buying any because I'm not hosting Christmas, which have like a murder mystery type game, and there's 6 in a pack, and so it has to be 6 of you. I mean, there's going to be like 12 of us. No, 14 of us at Christmas, I think, or 13. That's not very lucky, is it? Number 16. And anyway, and so you all get a clue and you have to try and solve. I think that's such fun. Murder mystery solving-y type things seem to be all the rage this Christmas here. In that you've got these crackers, you can buy advent calendars like that where you get a sort of clue a day. I think those look amazing. And our last colour, 11. And you can get, you notice I'm colouring back over all of it again, like I did before. And you can get, try and leave a white dot in the middle of this star. It's quite difficult. And you can, yeah, advent calendars as well, and board games and things like that. So, and there's a Christmas advert where you have to guess who did it, which is a lot of fun. Okay, so there's our Christmas cracker. It's quite hard to imagine how that's going to balance out. There seems to be quite a lot of green. There's quite a lot of gold as well. And we've got a lot of red going on here, so I think it'll work. Now, what I've got to decide on next is this beaded chain going around. I'm just looking to see. I'm a bit confused by it in that it's got a line here, can you see? And there are none others on there at all. Oh, there is. There it is. Okay, so it is symmetrical-ish. So we've got a line there. I'm just trying to work it out. Circle, blah, little one. That goes all the way along there. I think what I'm going to do is pick a shape and do them in different colours. I think that's the easiest way. So I'm going to grab my green, my ochre and my red, and I'm going to do the red one. I'm going to use the 29 red to do the big circles. So we're going to do those first. Let me just put it into shot so you can see it all. I'm only going to do this sort of quarter of it, and what I'm going to do is layer it a lot around the edge and less towards the middle. Whoops. So, and leave a lighter bit in the centre, so it almost looks like our ball, like that. Okay, and do all of them the same. I'm going to do all of this because I need to work out how to balance out the colour, so I shall get on with it. I think so. It's quite hard to tell. That one's much bigger than this one, but still, it's okay. Just got my son to take down some of our Christmas lights. They've been up all year. Tend to leave our fairy lights up, and then we sort of light them when it's dark sometimes, and it's just rather pretty. Now I'm grabbing my 5, but they got broken, so we took them down. I shoved them in a drawer because you can't put electronics in the bin. So you see I'm doing the same here. I am layering up more on the edge than the middle. Oh, I just need to check my tablet. It's gone off. See if my son's getting in touch now. Should be in class anyway. Not chatting to me. Right, I'm going to do these ones in this because we haven't got much more green. And also that sort of long one there. I think I'll make these sides darker. That's it. The rest we're going to do in this colour, which is 16. We're not going to try and make gold. I will do for these stars. I'm just going to make them the same as that, but not for the for these tiny circles. So just sharpen my pencil. And you can see it's a pretty good colour anyway, to look sort of goldish. You can do yellow if you prefer, that's fine, or the sand colour, the number 11 that we've been using. It's absolutely up to you. So there's that bit. Now we've got our holly. Now the holly goes all the way around the edge, and if I come out a tad we can look at a quarter of it, because it goes from here all the way. That is the same as that. Okay, so the first thing to do is to grab your 5, and I'm going to do this stem bit in just a really dark 5. So I'm just going to not worry about shading or layering. I'm just going to put down a heavy layer of 5. Okay. Oops. And I'm apparently going to colour a berry green. I'm going to try not to colour any more of the berries in green. Now, as I said to you when I was doing the mistletoe, holly is very dark. So I like to colour it dark, but often it's very shiny, and getting that shine is quite tricky. So let's come in closer so you can see what I'm doing. There we go, and we'll start here. So I think the shine doesn't tend to be even on a holly. They're quite strange shaped pieces, and they don't always have shine in the same place. But what I'm going to do is start with a dark line all the way around the edge. I think you can't go wrong there. You can put one down the middle like that. Then you can just fill this bit in lightly and leave a bit that's sort of light, almost white. I don't want it to be completely white, so it looks a bit more shiny. And that's how I'm going to colour my holly. So it's not very sophisticated because it's quite a small area, but it'll do for me. like that, and then just a bit less in these sections here. Okay, now I'm not going to show you anymore, it's all very much the same, so it's quite straightforward. And our berries again are straightforward as well. Now you can choose whether you use the 2 or the 29, or whether you use both. I might use the 2 because we use the 29 here, so it's a little bit different, and if it looks too orange I might put some 29 on top. Can you see? So we're going to do it the same as these, so just around our edge with a few layers and then fade. Okay. Now you could use your black or your brown to make it look a little bit darker, a little bit better. I'm going to grab this 76 and just show you. Now it's small, it's fiddly, but just put a little bit on the very edge of the berry. And just bring that in just a tad. Now if you wish you can change pencils to 29 to go do your second layer of red, so it brings it to a slightly different colour. Again, try not to put too much in the middle, just layer up that edge. There we go. Now the holly, all the same, so the stars are going to be like this one, but we've got these dots. What do we do with those? Well, I'm thinking I will probably do them in the number 16 because we've got green and red here and no gold, so I'll probably just make them look gold like this. You could use a pen, or to go over these black dots or something like that. It's completely up to you. I'm going to keep it really, really simple, so it might look like these dots are twinkling off of these. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go away and colour the rest of it in, and then at the end I will come back and I will talk to you. Right, I am back now, having completed my picture. It did take quite a while, I have to say, although I was rather distracted. So here it is. Now there are a few things you can do if you want to add some different aspects to it. You could use a white pen to do highlights on the berries, the holly berries, and the sort of beads, even on the candy canes and the baubles and the gemstones and everything else if you want to. I decided not to do that because we've got a white paper. If I was going to do a background, then I think the white would really help it all to stand out, but because we've got white paper, putting more white on, I'm not sure that it's what I want to do, but that's completely up to you. Little dots of white here and there might look really good. Also, if you want to, you could do these dots in a gold pen rather than leaving them in the ochre sort of pencil. And of course, as a sort of saying, you can do background if you want to. Now I wouldn't do a soft pastel for this. There's so much white with our berries and our white in here, even though it's grey, it would just ruin it. I think you'd have to do it in pencil, so unless you use some sort of masking fluid or something, which I think is a bit difficult on such a small picture. So it's up to you, but I'm leaving mine just like that. I was really happy with it, to be honest. It was a lot of fun. It's my first proper Christmassy picture, apart from that matchstick mouse one I did, which I tried to pick one that wasn't very Christmassy because I wasn't quite into Christmas yet, but I'm getting there. So this one is putting me in the mood. So that's great. So thank you for watching today. I hope that you have a really super day. Hopefully you can find this and download it and colour it in, or something similar. Johanna has a lot of these sorts of shapes and Christmassy things in Johanna's Christmas, in other Christmas pictures that she's done. So if you can't download, you haven't got a printer or whatever, or you would prefer to colour in a book, then you can use all of these techniques. Just just in her Christmas book. So there we go. But thank you very much for watching. I hope that you have a super day and happy colouring.